It is God's nature itself that defines love. God is love, and we see that throughout Scripture. Hurt is real. Your hurts are certainly real. But I think the divorce rate's sky high. Marriage today, just like love, has become more sexual, more feeling oriented. What's in it for me? Marriage has become that way too. What can I get out of this other person? What can they do for me? But if we reframe our concept of love as more self-sacrificial, that changes the ballgame. It totally changes the equation. It's not something that could ever be earned by another person, because we're all broken human people with a sin nature. I can't earn somebody else's love. I'll never be good enough to earn it. So I would never get it. The same is true for all of us, for you in your relationship too. If you're holding out or withholding love, waiting for somebody else to perform at a higher level, they never will. They will never deserve it. We will never be able to earn God's favor because we have a broken, sinful nature. That's just the way it is. But God loved us anyway, and Jesus came for us. That's the beauty of the gospel message. So, our culture has removed God from public life. Christianity, I would say, is in an overall cultural decline in America and in the West in general, just broadly speaking. People are leaving the church. I'm trying to put my finger in the dam for a minute. You can see the results in our culture, the harmful, deleterious effects of the redefinition of love. And we see that in the increasing brokenness around us. We see the lack of love. We see the evil because of this misunderstanding and the lack of the spiritual depth that we all need, that we are designed for. In atheism, I think this is important to say. In the atheistic worldview, there's actually no objective standard of right and wrong. Now, I'm not saying that a person who's an atheist doesn't understand right and wrong. Okay? But what I'm talking about is just the worldview itself. If you think about it for a minute, if you believe that we are just a physical body and that's it, nothing else, we've evolved from the primordial soup, lightning strikes into the primordial soup, out comes a single cell, and then, we evolve. If we are just the result of a complex chain of chemistry reactions, we're just dependent on the laws of physics, there is no spirit, there is no will external to you. If that's your worldview, then there is no standard of morality. There's no objective standard outside of us that defines what love is, or what good is, or what evil is, right? That is where the Christian worldview is so radically different, because it takes us out of the subjective realm of personal opinion. In the atheistic worldview, everybody just thinks what they want to think, and whatever your opinion is, it's kind of the progressive or postmodern worldview that we talked about previously. There's just subjective truth that might be your opinion, but not objectively true, meaning cannot be shown to be true outside of yourself for all people, all time, all places, different points of history, and so forth. There's really not a grounding of what moral choices are in atheism. The Christian worldview changes the equation radically. rather than promoting this live for yourself, live according to your opinion type of attitude, which just breeds selfishness and self-centeredness and all of those effects. We understand in the Christian worldview that we are created in God's image, we reflect his nature, and we have his moral law on our conscience. So God's nature is outside. Well, I'm sorry, that was confusing. God's nature is what it is, his being, his essence. God is outside of time, and I'm going to demonstrate that in a future broadcast. But because of that, it is God's nature itself that defines love. God is love, and we see that throughout Scripture. Despite cultural differences across different parts of the world and across history as time has unfolded, despite all of those things, we just know in our conscience given by God, reflecting his image, we know basic right from wrong. And there's a reason for that. The reason is simply that God has put his moral law, so to speak, in our hearts. It is written upon our hearts, in our conscience.